Let's talk about the Chauvet Hurricane Haze 4D. Now, we've had a few of these, and when they work great. They create an insane amount of haze. Now we're coming from using an American DJ haze generator, and prior to that we had an Antari like HZ300 or HZ350. Both very good hazers. I liked both of those. We used those for years. The American DJ haze generator we used for probably 3 years. The issue came with using an oil-based hazer in that we keep it in a fixed installation. Same lights and everything, and just over time everything gets this oily residue on it. The haze looks amazing because you can't really see it in the air. There's just this slight mist that you kind of see in the air, but it creates a really good haze effect, and it does a really good job, oil-based haze, of just evenly spreading out the room over time and just hanging there. And so, effect-wise, oil-based haze is way better. Water-based haze, they call this, Hurricane Haze 4D. American DJ calls it a phaser, which I assume this is a phaser where it's fog haze. Water-based haze definitely looks like fog. It does not shoot out like a plume of smoke, but it does create the white, a fairly even white fog in the area. But it can be very directional. Like wind will, like if you've got AC units in the ceiling shooting out, it'll blow it across the stage just like it would fog. It doesn't quite have the hanging effect that oil-based haze does. So my personal opinion is that this should be called a phaser. I feel like calling it a hazer is a little deceiving, because when I think of haze, I think of the oil-based, not able to see it in the air really. You just see the beams of light, whereas this is definitely more like fog that's just lightly dispersed throughout the air. But given those differences, I'd take water-based just because your lights aren't going to get all oily. With the oil-based haze and our lights sitting up there for a few years, like some of the lights in the back, it was where it seemed like the oil-based haze would accumulate. There was just oil just dripping. You could see drops of oil dripping off them. And, that's just a product of using oil-based haze over time. So the effect is better, but if you like your lights, get water-based. You're not gonna, well, I guess I can't say that because we haven't had a chance to do a really long-term run with water-based haze, and that's where I come to my review of the Hurricane Haze 4D. It cranks out a lot of haze, but reliability is very bad. I usually will not give a negative review if we buy something and it turns out to be defective. But the issue here is that we've had 3 of these in the last 3 months, and they've all died. So we started out with one, and it came making a weird noise. Like there was like a weird rattly, odd sound going on inside of it. And it worked. I thought, well, maybe something's just loose, and we used it. And it lasted about a week and a half and died. The heat light comes on the back, but it never gets up to temp. And so I assume what happened is the heating element burnt out, and it just sits there and tries to heat up, but nothing's heating up, so it knows it never gets to the temp to try to blow anything out. We bought it from capodj.com, and I shot them an email, and Chauvet is very good. If you have something for less than 30 days, they consider it dead on arrival. So they were very good about getting us a new one really fast, and then they gave us a return label for the other one. So then we bought a backup one just in case, another one goes down, because we have this in an installed environment that has shows 4 nights a week. So we have to have haze. So we got the new one, and it came without, it didn't make any weird noises, so we were happy there, and it worked good. We used it for, I'm going to say, probably 2 months to maybe 2.5 months. And just this last week, it worked on Wednesday. We had a DJ in the venue on Wednesday, and it worked just fine. And then we had the same DJ back on Thursday, and he came in and flipped everything on, and we got a phone call that there's no haze. And we were like, well, just unplug it for now, and we'll take a look at it when we get back to town, because we were out of town doing an event in South Dakota. Got back to town, sure enough, plug it in, heat lights on, doesn't get up to temp. Luckily, we had this brand new one sitting in the box in the shop. So before we had bands in there that weekend, we threw this one in there, filled it up with fluid and let it go. I get a text that night that it lasted 2.5 hours before the heat light stayed on the back. It didn't get up to temp, and it didn't blow out any more haze. And so, I've had a lot of things die on me over the years. Some things seem more reliable than others. Sometimes you just have a manufacturing defect in something. Maybe one slipped through quality control. So I usually will not write, or negative review. I actually did write a negative review on this as well on Amazon. But I usually will not give a negative review if I have one of something die. But having 3 of these die in the course of 3 months, just something's not right there. I mean, does anyone out there besides me own a Hurricane Haze 4D, and are you having the same issues that I'm having? Because I'm really curious to know, like, is this just a bad manufacturing run where they got a shipment of 1,000 heating elements in that were just defective? What is going on here? Because, having this guy last 2.5 hours, I mean, that's ridiculous. This one did last about, like I said, 2 months to 2.5 months, which is a little better, but still. And then the first one only lasting a week and a half. I mean, I know in years past, like there was a long time I did not buy Chauvet anything because the quality just was not there. But I've had a lot of friends start to buy Chauvet stuff, and the quality had seemed to be getting better and better and better. We use a lot of Chauvet gig bars, and I'll probably do a review on that at some point too, but I mean, those things go out like crazy. We rent them out, we use them for our DJs. They go out non-stop, and they get beat up and they keep kicking. So I feel like Chauvet quality has gotten better over the years, but I really want to know what's going on with these things. It would be awesome if someone from Chauvet would comment on here, give me a heads up, because I'm forced with the thing. I got an RMA, and I can send them in and get them fixed and get them shipped back. But the thought that's going through my head is, if I send these in and get them fixed, throw them back in the venue, are they just going to die in 3 hours? Are they going to make it through a show? Will they make it through a week? I just wonder. And I mean, if that's the case, the installation we have these in is a pretty sizable contract for our company. We can't have hazers dying mid-show. And some of you are probably saying, well, then you should have bought an Antari, which is probably what we're going to do next. But I did have good luck with the American DJ Haze generator, so I was thinking about buying, I can't think of what the model is, but it's they have a phaser that looks like it comes built into a road case, and I'm thinking about trying that just because I had pretty good luck with American DJ stuff before. And to be honest, I'm kind of wondering if American DJ makes their hazers or if they're rebranded Antari hazers. I have wondered that, because when you look at the American DJ Haze generator, it very much resembles the Antari HZ100. It looks practically the same. And the phaser that I'm talking about looks like an Antari phaser. You know, granted, they're probably not made to the same specs or same quality control, but if they are made by Antari, then, you know, it's probably why the Haze generator lasted as long as it did. But anyways, if somebody out there owns a Hurricane Haze 4D, not a 2D or a 1DX, like I've got a 1DX and we've used it not as steady as we were trying to use these, where we were trying to use them 4 nights a week, but we've used it a few times, and it didn't, you know, it's still kicking. And I bought the 1DX before I bought these, but that goes out for mobile shows, so that's maybe once every couple weeks it gets used. But I'm curious if anybody has the 4D. How long have you used it? And have you had any issues with it? Because it just seems really odd to me that we would get 3 of them and all 3 of them would die like that. The only thing we could come up as a possible option as to why the heating element was going out of these is the stage we use it on, the AC vents kind of blow across the stage, so we actually keep the fan almost off on this thing. Like it very lightly blows it, because if we turn the fan up, it just shoots it straight across the stage, and then, you know, half the lights don't even get the haze effect. So we leave it to where the fan is just barely blowing, and it's just kind of puffing up, and then once it gets up into the lights, the AC starts to blow it across the stage. Because like I said, this doesn't cover as nice as oil-based does. It's very foggy-ish. So that's the one thing I could think of, is that since we didn't have the fan blowing, it wasn't properly cooling down the heating element. But at the same time, like, if that's the case, don't make the fan so it goes all the way down to 0. So, but obviously the heating element has to get hot, so I don't know. Was the heating element overheating and burning out? Should we have had the fan on 75% to help cool down the whole unit? You know, what's the issue here? And were these things tested after they were designed? That's the real question. I do know a few people that have had Hurricane Haze 2Ds that use them and use them and use them and use them, and they just keep kicking. They've been using them for years and haven't had a problem. So I don't know if just being a bigger hazer with a bigger heating element, you know, maybe they source the heating element from a different manufacturer. You know, I don't know what the issue is, but there's definitely something wrong with the Hurricane Haze 4D. And I hope it gets fixed. Maybe when these get sent in for warranty repair, they'll put a different heating element in. Maybe not. Maybe they'll put the same one in and they'll just keep dying, and we'll just keep rolling until my warranty runs out, and then they'll get tossed in the dumpster. You know, if that's the case, I find it somewhat irritating to constantly mail stuff in to get fixed too. You know, warranty is great if one thing dies and you mail it in and it's good, but if you send it in and it gets fixed and you get it back and it dies again, then you have to box it up, mail it in, you know, wait a couple weeks to a month to get it back again, and then you get it back and it breaks again. You know, what's the point in that? I'd rather just chuck them in the dumpster and buy something new. But anyways, that's my review on the Hurricane Haze 4D. It is a great hazer when it's working, but the quality, to me, seems to be subpar, and it's not just based off of owning one unit. I've had 3 of these things, and every single one of them has died the same way. So anyways, if you own one, let me know your experience with it in the comments section. Other than that, have a good day.